So there's a white woman that wants to break down that song that everyone was talking about a week or so ago. I tried that in a small town, and you know the controversy about that particular song, and actually that song has went up the charts. And it doesn't surprise me because the white supremacists are always going to support some sort of degeneracy, right? But this woman breaks down why that song is a problem. Let's go ahead and roll that.
If you grew up next to a sundown town and you look like me, you know more about the song lyrics, Try That in a Small Town, than you are probably admitting to. So let's talk about it. And I'm gonna go by part so we don't miss anything. So let's just talk about the first 4 lines of that song that end with act a fool. Now, let's not be acting stupid. Let's not pretend that the line act a fool at the end of that stanza, or whatever you want to call it, at the top of that song isn't referencing all the actions that came prior to the sentence act a fool. And let's not pretend that act a fool was just chosen verbiage. It was on purpose. Now let's talk about make it down the road. So when you live near or know about a sundown town, making it down a road and crossing a line is very particular language. See, when you're in a sundown town and you're talking about people of color, you run them out of your town, down that road to the city limits. They're talking about a line and a road and to not cross it. And I recommend you don't try it. I recommend you don't try crossing that line, that city limit in a small town. It's not just that they're talking about, I recommend you not acting in those behaviors. They're recommending you not crossing that city line, that county line, whatever it is. He then references good old boys. This is a very particular term. Good old boys reference white men. Period. End of story. So what this song is actually saying is, if you come down the road, if you cross that city limit of our town, and you would only know this if you knew white people that lived near or in a sundown town, because you need to know that language to understand what this song is actually saying. I remember the sundown town that I lived next to. They used to joke about the fact that there would be an alarm that would go off every night at 6 o'clock in the town. And that alarm meant that all black people better be out of the town by 6 o'clock. Like, you need to be down the road and over city lines before 6 o'clock, because you knew. And if you're too young or don't live within proximity, or you don't understand and people that are white haven't told you this, or your grandparents haven't told you this, or whatever, then you don't know that this song is actually as racist as it is. Because I promise you, it is.
The people throughout the world that, could be watching this, don't let the United States come to your country talking about human rights and all of that. Because they have sundown towns, as this woman clearly explained to you what that song meant, what the good old boys, everybody know, if you're from the South, you know what good old boys mean. I mean, that's not a secret. But people throughout the world, they try to come to you and say, oh, you need to be treating your people right. You need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. Yet they got towns in America that says to black people, you better be out of here before sundown. You better be out of here. Because if not, it's going to be a major problem for you. And you're supposed to be an American citizen. You should be able to go to any city and town you would like to go to, right? But this is how, it is for black people. As I stated before, black America lives under an authoritarian regime. White people live under democracy. And the reason why I do air quotes democracy, because we truly don't have a democracy in this country. Because we truly had a democracy, the government wouldn't look geriatric. The reins of power have been turned over a long time ago to the younger people. And that group is doing everything they can. They don't want to retire for no reason. Most people, back in the day would say, yeah, I just want to retire and go enjoy my life. But no, not this group that's running the government. They literally run this country to the ground. Literally, so that's why I say, don't ever let them come to your country talking about human rights. Because when they come to your country talking about human rights, just tell them, hey, Well, you telling us about human rights. What about them sundown towns in your country? Well, black people can't even be in a town after sundown. What's going on with that? But you coming over here. Over here, we don't have no town like that. Telling people you better be out of the city by a certain time. Say, we've never done that. I told you, people throughout the world, Black America is the Achilles heel of the United States. If they ever come to your country and talk about you, you just throw it right back in their face. Hey, look what you did, black people. Look what you do to them today. Hey, look at George Floyd. Look at Sandra Bland. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at Malcolm X. Look at all the things that happen to these black people. I see story after story after story after story about what happens to black people. So can you show us to treat people right in your own country? They tell you about human rights, but we got American citizens sleeping on the street in the supposed richest country on earth. I don't see how being $31 trillion in debt. You know what I'm saying? Tell them that. Because, you know, and a lot of black Americans, that's why they really don't want to give us reparations. Because they know good. Listen, I'll tell you what. Let me say this. A lot of black Americans would be like, peace out if they can get reparations in another place where they can be cool, comfortable. And there a lot of them go. I know a lot of people right now who say, man, they see the writing on the wall for this place. Look at what happened with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo recently have a bunch of people's deposits missing. So now your banks is taking your money? That's what's happening? I tell black people this all the time. I mean, when I saw Bank of America do that stuff, right? I'm like, boy, y'all better get y'all money and put it in the credit unions. You better put it wherever. You better have you some other options outside this place. Because I talk to people every day who say, man, you know what? I'm looking at other places to go because I am getting tired of this place. I say, these people are literally taking this country to the ground, and I don't want my kids in the mix of it. Now, of course, you're going to have some people that are always swinging that flag so hard, but I always tell people, be careful listening to everybody online tell you that, because if it gets so bad and their children need to be safe, you better believe they're going to take their children to safety. They're not going to sit up there and have their kids in a bad situation. I'm telling y'all. Because what's happening to this place right now, y'all really need to be paying attention. And even what's happening on the other side of the world, you need to be paying attention. This place is really regressing. So this sundown town and all that situation, like I said, that should be actually a way for us to even open up the door to go to other places and say, look, you see how we living. You know, yes, supposedly America got money, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with white supremacy every day. We can't even drive down the street without worrying about losing our lives for a dumb traffic stop. But y'all let me know what y'all think about what this lady talking about here. You know, you're from the South. You kind of know exactly what this lady already talking about. But some people just can't believe that they have a sundown town or that exists still in 2023. Oh, yes, it do.